From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, President Buhari denies anointing candidate as northern APC governors insist on power shift to south. NNPP governorship candidates emerge in Kano and Kaduna states. More condemnation trail attack on worshippers in Owo. Away from Nigeria, over 18 people dead in Eastern Republic of Congo's rebel attack. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Beginning with political stories, President Muhammadu Buhari has put to rest speculations about his choice of a presidential candidate for the governing All Progressives Congress. The president met on Monday afternoon at State House, Abuja, with the party's governors from the 14 northern states. He stressed that he had no preferred candidate, had anointed no one, and was determined that there will be no imposition of any candidate on the party. Kehinde Amodu reports.
With last-minute preparations in high gear at the Eagle Square, Abuja, speculations had spread like wildfire that the APC National Chairman Abdullahi Adamu had announced Senate President Ahmed Lawan as consensus presidential flag bearer of the APC. Ironically, at that point in time, President Buhari was meeting with the 14 northern governors and assuring them that the delegates will decide who would be the party's presidential flag bearer.
As a believer in democratic process, believe that any candidate was emerged through a transparent process. And the emphasis that Mr. President told us that for this election, for now, he has no anointed candidate.
The 14 northern governors have made it clear that the Senate President is the last person on their minds. In fact, they are confirming widespread speculations from the night before that their position is that the party's candidate in the presidential polls shall come from the southern part of the country.
We wrote it and we stand by it, that in the interest of unity, in the interest of peace, we recommended that, and also justice. Our recommendation is that the next president should come from the south.
The governor of Kogi State chose to excuse himself from meeting with Mr. President because he believes that he does not agree with our position. There are 14 APC governors out of the 19 northern states. 13 of us are on one page on this subject.
Rumors and speculations are not strange in high-stakes contests such as this one. Few hours before the special national convention commences, none of the contending camps can be sure of where the pendulum will swing. In fact, you could say there is an air of confusion.
I don't know why people assume that when you have 100 people, everyone must agree before a decision can be taken. That is the key to analysis paralysis. When the majority, or even a super majority like 12 out of 14 takes a decision, everyone is bound. There is no time that everyone will agree to an issue.
This is compounded by the fact that the 14 northern governors have left the back door open by assuring President Buhari that they are ready to accept his leadership on the matter. Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, APC governors from the north on Monday informed President Muhammadu Buhari of their decision that power should rotate to southern parts of the country in 2023. The chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, briefed State House reporters after the meeting with the president at the presidential villa in Abuja. He said that the 13 of them apologized to the president for receiving the information about their position after it was leaked. The governor, however, said that they took the decision in the interest of justice and peace in the country. He added that President Buhari directed them to meet the party's National Working Committee to agree on the succession program.
Things in this country, and we discuss at length about the unity of this country, about the need for progress and the need for inclusiveness and also the need to accommodate for accommodation. And we sat down in the last few days, and out of that, 13 out of 14 governors agreed. And we took a decision to go and advise Mr. President. While we are on our way to advise Mr. President, I think part of the discussion that we did leaked out to the press. Well, we still went ahead and we told Mr. President, being a Democrat, said no, he must listen to us. He will listen to us. And so Mr. President granted us the opportunity today. Our meeting today is to reaffirm our position on that letter, on that statement. We also apologize to him that that statement was made by all of us, and we reaffirm the position, but we apologize that the statement leaked out before even our consultation with him.
Members of the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress have denied endorsing Senate President Ahmed Lawan as the consensus presidential candidate of the party. The national chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, had announced during the NWC meeting on Monday that Lawan has been anointed as the consensus candidate of the party. But the national organizing secretary of the party, Suleiman Argungu, while addressing journalists at the party secretariat after the NWC meeting, said that the issue of consensus was never discussed at the meeting. He stressed that Adamu only gave them the information, but they were yet to discuss it.
Well, these are members of the press, as you have said, you have just said, you can see all of us are coming from the NWC meeting, but we are fully briefed by our national chairman, distinguished Senator His Excellency Adamu, Abdullahi Adamu, and he did brief us that Ahmed, Senator Abdullahi, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan is a consensus candidate for the APC National Convention. And that is just for the information he gave us. But it's not an issue that has been discussed on the floor of the NWC. And we have just, like you are all aware, just recently, about 2 days ago, the Northern Governors meeting had a meeting that the leadership of this country, all progressive Congress should go to the north. And equally, the Southern Governors also affirmed that. So we, as members of NWC, we are also with the governors on what they have said. And that's some minutes ago, the governors in the north have gone to the presidency and have just briefed the press that they are still on what they said with regard to the power shift to the south. But it's not an issue that has to be deliberated on the floor of the NWC. It's an information, and all of us are entitled to our opinion. We are all Democrats. This decision was never taken by the NWC, but an information given to the NWC.
In the meantime, all is now set for the All Progressives Congress Special Convention at the Eagle Square, Abuja. Speaking while inspecting the level of readiness for the exercise, Zamfara State Governor Maimala Buni, Yobe State Governor Maimala Buni, said that the party has put machinery on ground to ensure not only transparent primaries, but one that follow all processes laid out by the Independent National Electoral Commission. He was accompanied by some of the party committee members in charge of both security and planning organizing committee.
It has a process, and the president believe in that process. President say we have to, everybody that should emerge should come through the process of democracy, and we are going to do that. But we're still in contact with some of the contestants. Maybe later in the day you'll hear the result. You know, we have all the arrangement for the voting. You see, all the arrangement have been made for in case if voting has to go on. We are ready for that.
We do apologize. That was Bello Matoli, Governor of Zamfara State there. Now, party supporters have called on the delegates to ensure transparency in the special convention of All Progressive Congress to ensure a hitch-free primary. Speaking to Trust TV at Eagle Square, venue of the convention, the supporters said that they are ready to give their mandate to their desired delegates to ensure that the best candidate who will lead the party to victory emerges. Other party supporters added that their expectations is to ensure that the presidential primary goes smoothly, enable the party remain united after the exercise. Kabir Lawal reports.
Well, we are outside the Eagle Square right now in Abuja, where the All Progressive Congress party primaries want to take place. And as you can see behind me here, we have party supporters sitting willy-nilly to see who the flag bearer will be. And some of them will tell us their expectations and exactly what brought them to Eagle Square in Abuja.
My expectation for the primary is that I want the primary to be free affair. I don't want violence. I want the Nigeria to be kind. You know, some people use the privilege of this to kill their fellow human being, or to kick against someone, or to be trying one way or another to fight someone, which is absolutely wrong.
I advise people that vote to vote in peace, not in pieces. To vote with good heart and to vote the leader that will take you to the next level, that will change the country, that will make Nigeria be better the way we want, because Nigeria is not okay.
Security of lives and property is of paramount importance, especially when it comes to politicking. Party supporters have been here for days and they have not even complained that anything has happened to their life or property. In Abuja, Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News.
The presidency on Monday said tens of millions of Nigerians elected Muhammadu Buhari as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, stressing that no one person can or should claim to have made it possible. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, said this in a statement titled "Comment on the Statement Made by a Leading APC Flag-Bearer Aspirant." One of the frontline presidential aspirants on the platform of the All Progressives Congress is said to have opened up on how he led the political struggle that produced President Buhari in 2015. But in a reaction on Sunday, the presidency said many people made huge contribution to the historic election in 2015. We're now being joined by General Editor Daily Trust newspaper Hamza Idris to get perspectives on some of the recent developments about the All Progressives Congress. Thank you for joining us on the news.
Thank you, Ayuba.
Well, we've seen a lot of stories emerge this evening, just the eve of the primaries, and a lot of people are wondering what's really going on. Initially, there was this idea of a consensus candidate, but as soon as a name was, brought up, the Senate President Ahmad Lawan, we saw the presidency, saying something about not endorsing anyone and all of that. Do you think that this change in position is because of the reactions of the Northern Governors Forum?
No, not really. I think what is happening is the climax of the high-profile politicking in the ruling party. Many interests over time, and then the president, in the past couple of days, he has been hammering on consensus, but we have less than 24 hours now, maybe roughly 12 hours for the real accreditation and then the commencement of voting and what have you, but they didn't agree. So most likely the national chairman maybe jumped the gun. And then you can see the National Working Committee is sharply divided because Arugungu a few hours ago said they only received the endorsement of the Senate President as an announcement by the National Chairman. It has not been discussed at the National Working Committee level. So there is division there. This is one aspect.
Even from among the NWC?
Exactly. Now, on the other side, you can see APC governors of Northern Extraction. They said there should be power shift to the south. But with the announcement of Lawan by the national chairman, you can see it's another problem. Meaning the NWC, or let me say the national chairman of the party and the APC governors are not on the same page. Most likely, the president is trying to play safe because there have been insinuations that even the consensus agenda was not his, ab initio.
Yeah, but, it's a bit confusing if you put that side by side with the statement of the president earlier in the week that, he needs the cooperation of the governors to produce his successor.
Now, from that statement, a few days after, he now asked the governors, right, to go and agree and come with somebody. So you can see two statements. From that day, when he said they should reciprocate by allowing him to pick his successor, to today, there are about 4 or 5 contradictory statements, or there is no sequence in what is really happening between the Villa, the Governors Forum, and the National Secretariat of the party.
Now, within the short time that they have left, do you think that they will be able to resolve all of this acrimonies before the conduct of the primaries eventually?
Most likely going to the battleground, because you can see even among the APC governors, Yahya Bello said that he wants to be on the ballot as a contender. Of course, Badaru has stepped down. And then many of the aspirants from fillers like Tinubu, he is not intending to back out. He said even if there is anything, he should be the one. And then if there is nothing like consensus or whatever, they should allow all the contestants to go and test their popularity. So we see them going to the convention ground to go and slug it out.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us on NISA and sharing your perspectives with us on this recent development.
Thank you very much.
Yes. That was the General Editor, Daily Trust newspaper, giving us perspectives on the developments on the All Progressives Congress presidential primaries. Now, moving on, Kano State chapter of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has affirmed Abba Kabir as its governorship candidate for the 2023 elections. He emerged at the party's consensus primary election held at the Sani Abacha Youth Center in Kano, where over 1,000 delegates participated. Chairman of the party's electoral committee, Senator Musa Bako, says that the consensus is in line with the party's decision to produce a single candidate that will participate in the forthcoming general elections in 2023.
We can do a permission and we can also cast votes. It's all the same. A permission is yes or no vote. You ask delegates, this is the candidate. Do you agree with him? We will ask them the yes or no vote. They can also cast vote. Where there is a single candidate, they can also cast vote. After accreditation, they can also cast vote. It's all the same.
Staying with political stories, Senator Suleiman Hunkuyi has emerged the consensus governorship candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, in Kaduna State ahead of the 2023 general election. Hunkuyi, in his acceptance speech, says that he has a comprehensive plan to address the security challenges bedeviling the state in particular and the nation at large. The NNPP candidate also lamented the process of electing candidates in the ruling APC and the PDP in the ongoing primaries in the country, saying that it has not been reflective of a free and fair process. In days to come, political parties in Nigeria will conclude their primary elections and present their candidates to Nigerians for the presidential election. Now, political leaders have been paying condolence visits to the Ondo State Governor, Rotimi Akeredolu, over the Sunday's killing of scores of worshippers at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Ekiti State Governor Dr. Kayode Fayemi, and former Governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, were in Ondo State on Monday. The report.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was an early caller to the state on Monday. representing President Muhammadu Buhari. The Vice President also visited the Olowo of Owo, Oba Ajibade Ogunye, giving assurances that the killers of the worshippers would be apprehended in no distant time. He therefore appealed to residents of the town not to take laws into their own hands. Senator Bola Tinubu, who came calling some hours later, condemned the violent attack on innocent worshippers, describing it as evil that must be defeated. He promised to work with Governor Akeredolu to bring succor to the victims. Before he visited the scene of the massacre for on-the-spot assessment, Tinubu pledged the sum of 50 million naira to the victims and another 25 million naira to the Catholic Church. Expressing his sadness over the tragic incident, Tinubu noted that the Southwest had never witnessed an attack of such magnitude, saying that it was horrendous. Meanwhile, Governor Fayemi, who was accompanied by former Governor of Ogun State and Senator representing Ogun Central Senatorial District, Senator Ibikunle Amosun, condemned the attack. The Bishop of Ondo Diocese, Bishop Jude Arogundade, described the attack as evil and urged the governors to ensure that those behind the killing and their sponsors are brought to book. Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State has directed that flags should be flown at half-mast in all public buildings, facilities and official residences for 7 days in honor of the victims of the Owo terror attack on Sunday. In a related development, Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III, has condemned Sunday's attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State. The Sultan said on Monday that the heinous attack was a crime not only against humanity, but also a grievous and inexplicable sin. The council also urged the governments at all levels to issue and pursue an ultimatum for the security agencies to unravel the identity and bring to book the perpetrators of the violation of sanctity of life. Over the Vatican City, Pope Francis expressed his condolences for the victims of the terror attack. This was revealed in a press release by the director of the Holy See Press Office, Matteo Bruni. According to the press release, the Pope expressed his solidarity with the victims and sent his prayers. Chama Kawafo, Trust TV, Abuja.
Similarly, social media users home and abroad have condemned the recurring abductions and killing of innocent and unarmed civilians in Nigeria. The condemnation is contained in a series of tweets by the users following the attacks on worshippers in St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State. Nana Mohammed captured the mood on social media and now reports.
The messages were clear, direct, and resonated anger, pain, frustration, and sadness. At the last count, 50 worshippers, including women and children, were reportedly killed, with many others sustaining various degrees of injuries. The anger and frustration is clear in the messages, many shared on their Twitter handles. The most trending one among the tweets is by one El Ajanaku. She wrote, "The audacity of Nigeria to take my parents from me. I will always hate this country. It's a promise." It was then followed by, "My fellow parishioners who suffered a loss or two in this, I hope we can all find the fortitude to bear this loss. We were a community of well-meaning, harmless people. How can Nigeria take so much from us?" she questioned. In his tweets, Maurice Baker said, I hereby condemn. Now how we take reach where we did so, meaning 0 actions, 100 condemnation." Asha, a popular Nigerian-American musician, tweets, "We are not angry enough." Sheikh Husani, a former Nigerian senator, says, "We have reached a point where 5 terror groups, ISWAP, Ansarul, Darussalam, Boko Haram, and bandits are freely competing with each other for space and for the blood of the innocent." The Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast has in the last 12 years led to the killings and kidnappings of people in churches, mosques, markets, on the highways, in school and homes. Children were forced to join rebel fighters. Women and girls were made sex slaves, while thousands were displaced. Terrorist bandits have for 10 years killed and abducted people for ransom in the northwest, with the latest being the Abuja-Kaduna train attack. Perhaps that was why Nigerians, without missing words, continue to condemn the slow and sometimes no action by the government on these attacks. Little or nothing is being done to give justice to the families of the deceased, while perpetrators of these acts are rarely brought to face justice. It is not surprised that El Ajanaku, who lost both parents in the Owl attack, expressed bitterness and hatred in her message to the government and Nigeria. Activist Aisha Yusufu in her tweet says, Nigeria needs a law that makes it mandatory for every public building, banks, offices, hotels, religious houses, companies, businesses that operate at certain levels to have operational CCTVs within and outside their premises. Nana Muhammad, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Industrialists decry Kano epileptic power supply. Details and more shortly. Join us again.
The rains are here again. Floods are ravaging. Why? As residents of FCT, we have made some wrong choices. Dumping refuse in water channels, building on waterways, damaging water lines. The consequences of flooding can be devastating. Lives are lost, properties are damaged, people are displaced, farmlands are destroyed. Don't make the wrong choices. Don't build on floodplains. Don't dump refuse in waterways. Don't damage water lines. Clear all refuse in waterways around your premises. Together, we can safeguard lives and property. Do the right thing now. For emergencies, please call 112 or 122. This message is from the FCT Emergency Management Agency, FEMA.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back. This is the News Hour on Trust Television. Here is a reminder of our top stories again. President Buhari denies anointing candidate as northern APC governors insist on power shift to the south. NNPP governorship candidates emerge in Kano and Kaduna states. Now moving on, armed robbers on Monday morning attacked an estate in Gwarimpa area of Abuja Municipal Council in the Federal Capital Territory. Although the attack was initially reported as a kidnap incident by bandits, Trust TV's Aisha Salihu visited the estate and now presents the true account of the incident.
Take 1. Contrary to news circulating digital news platforms of an alleged bandits' invasion of Efab Queen's estate in Gwarimpa, the estate management has debunked the story, stating that it is clearly false. Officials of the estate management who refused to speak on camera stated that the attack was that of armed robbers who made their way into the estate by breaking through the back fence of the estate where there are a number of incomplete buildings. A residential house located close to the isolated back gate was said to be attacked, with the criminals making away with some devices and gadgets. Reports say police operatives attached to Galadima Divisional Headquarters upon receipt of a distress call promptly arrived at the scene. The robbers were said to have taken to their heels upon sighting the police. In reaction to the incident, the FCT Police, in a statement by its public relations officer DSP Josephine Ade, explained that alleged reports of banditry and abduction of residents in the estate are false. Ade urged digital news platforms to ensure they verify the authenticity of any story before going to the press. She assures of the FCT Police Commissioner's commitment to their safety and swift response to all distress calls, while calling on the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious occurrence to the police. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Adamawa State Police Command says it will arrest and prosecute culprits involved in any form of crime and criminality in the state. The command's public relations officer, SP Suleiman Ngoroje, disclosed this in an interview with Trust TV in Yola following the arrest of one Matthew Peter, who was allegedly contracted to kill one Saidu Mamman by his family members in Sangere Futi Gire local government area. Salis Lawan from Yola reports that the wife of the deceased and their 2 children conspired and paid the sum of 120,000 naira to Peter to carry out the dastardly act.
This is the resident of Let Saidu Mamman, a 60-year-old husband located at Sangere Futi, Gire local government area, who was allegedly killed by his family members. The house is now empty, except this shop. Hafsatu Saidu, the wife, and her 2 children have been arrested in relation to the murder. Few hours after she was arrested, alongside her 2 children, Hafsatu Saidu said they decided to kill him in order to inherit his property because he was stingy. Matthew Peter, the killer, who is currently at large, reportedly agreed to commit the dastardly act at the rate of 120,000 naira. The trio of Hafsatu Saidu, the wife, and her 2 children, Faiza Saidu and Faisal Saidu, have already been charged to court, while Matthew Peter still at large. SP Suleiman Guroje is the police public relation officer, Adamawa Command. He assured that the command has since deployed the necessary intelligence to effect the arrest of Peter and bring him to justice.
Adamawa State Police Command will not relent in its efforts by tracing the whereabouts of the fleeing suspect, and I'm assuring them that we are going after him, and the command is very much willing to offer a financial benefit to anyone that will assist the command with useful information with regard to his whereabouts. Secondly, the suspects at hand have been charged to court, to be precise, Chief Magistrate Court 1 so far. So in the event the command will not relent absolutely to see that at least justice is done to whosoever that deserves it.
Police public relations officer appealed public to punish the police with useful information that will aid the arrest of Matthew Peter. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
Still on security matters, no fewer than 23 persons were reportedly abducted by suspected terrorists at Furufuri community in Bunguru local government area of Zamfara state on Monday. Eyewitness accounts said that amongst those abducted were the 2 wives, 1 daughter and 2 sons of the former accountant general of the Zamfara state government, Abubakar Bello. Sources within the affected community said that the suspected terrorists riding on motorcycles invaded the community and started shooting sporadically to scare the residents away before whisking away their abductees to an unknown location. Furufuri community of Bunguru local government area of the state where the incident took place is about 7 kilometers away from Gusau, the Zamfara state capital. The incident is coming after 1 week when the terrorists killed 30 persons in separate communities of Bunguru local government areas of the state. The Zamfara State Police Command is yet to confirm the incident. 4 members of a family of 12 were on Monday found dead in a room at Obinze community in Owerri West local government area of Imo State. Trust TV gathered that the 4 were among 8 others in a house when they were found unconscious in one of the rooms. The victims were immediately rushed to the Imo Specialist Hospital, Omuguma, Owerri, where 4 were confirmed dead. As at press time, doctors and nurses were battling to save the lives of the 8 others. The house where the incident happened is said to be 12-room duplex. Among the victims were said to be the chief driver of the senatorial candidate for the Imo East in the 2023 election under the People's Democratic Party, Uche Onyegucha. And apart from the driver, simply identified as Kinsley, among the dead were 1 of his children, his sister-in-law, and another person. The Niger Kogi Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service has seized at least 101 vehicles and food items worth 755,377,866 naira. The area command controller, command controller Abubakar Muhammad Adamu said this while parading the seizures at the area command headquarters in Mina, Niger State. He said that the command recovered a total revenue of 74,919,135 naira from the demand notices raised and disposal of seized PMS. The area controller, who said that the items were seized in the last 3 months of his assumption of office in Niger Kogi Command, said 8 suspected smugglers have been arrested and are being prosecuted in court. He said other items seized were 140 rolls of foreign rocks, 50 bales of second-hand clothing, 300 packs of Heinz beans, 50 packs of tomato ketchup, 40 cartons of foreign wine, and 22 cartons of spaghetti, among others.
Operations in various countries during the period are also in display. You can see them here, which includes rice, carpet, spaghetti, couscous, assorted water, and drinks. Which are too numerous to mention now one by one, but at least you can see them being displayed. The cumulative value of these seizures is estimated to be around 755,337,866 kobo.
Over 300 small and medium-scale industries in Kano are currently operating on life support owing to the poor electricity supply amidst increased cost of diesel. In this report, Idris Jibrin says so far there is no government policy to rescue the SMEs despite their repeated appeals. The report.
Factory workers eating from their wages while waiting for electricity to produce 8 hours worth of goods as against 24 in recent times. Ibrahim Nasambo, who owns this small-scale oil processing mill in Sharada cluster, says he's about to close down unless the price of diesel is cut and electricity supply becomes stable.
Most of our members now, they are clothing.
Why?
Because you have to consume some certain amount of electricity before it hits for you to start production. As you start 1, 2, 3 hours, it ups. You not get any output, and then you consume the electricity. What you have to pay for it.
With the current continuous rise in price of diesel to about 760 naira per litre, small and medium-scale enterprises in Kano put all their hope on National Grid to operate. But business owners says inadequate supply and high cost of electricity tariff are threatening their survival.
The small scale can never survive. For instance, electricity. We hardly have enough electricity to run our machines, especially like plastic industries. Plastic industry are industries that deals with heatering machine, that the machine has to heat to melt the material before the production will start. It takes some time, maybe depending on the machine, some machine will take about 1 hour before it reaches its heating point.
There are 5 clusters of small and medium-scale industries across Kano State who largely depends on electricity and other government intervention to function, which the state government assured to provide.
From the side of the government, now we are about to commission our independent power generation in the state at Bagauda. It has been completed 100%. What remains is just the commissioning, even though it is not sufficient enough, to supply all our industries, all our industrial layouts. But it will help, it will support.
Meanwhile, Kano Electricity Distribution Company is assuring that work is in progress to ensure steady generation of electricity.
We are meant to receive 368 megawatts. And currently, we are actually receiving from 120 to 150. That is shortfall of almost 248. So you see, this shortfall is actually as a result of shortage of gas, which is a factor not only in Kano, but generally in the whole country.
While the small and medium-scale industries in Kano await for this, their problem is likely to keep increasing. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
We'll now take a quick break. The news are continuous shortly. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the federal government says Nigeria Air, the country's proposed national carrier, has received the air transport license to commence operation. The Federal Ministry of Aviation disclosed on Monday via a tweet from its official Twitter page. This development comes 4 years after the national carrier was unveiled by Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika. The ministry on Sunday announced that the proposed national carrier will receive an ATL from the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority on Monday. It added that the 5% of the airline shares will be owned by the government as it seeks to improve economic growth through diversification. According to the minister, the proposed national carrier is to begin operations with three wet-leased aircraft. Nigeria's food security is highly dependent on the success of the 2022 farming season. However, Nigerian farmers are struggling with adverse weather conditions and high cost of inputs during this year's planting season. Chamung Dabeng speaks to Executive Secretary of the Fertilizer Producers and Suppliers Association of Nigeria, Gideon Negedu, on his predictions and perception of this year's farming season.
As high food prices continue to plague the nation, the purchasing power of Nigerians has been severely eroded. The farming season is negatively impacted by harsh economic conditions in addition to challenges like the cost of fertilizers and spiraling insecurity. Is there hope for a successful farming season?
The good news is that the rains are here earlier than last year. The challenge we had last year in the erratic rainfall pattern, we might not have that this year. The predictions are good and the actuals are even more encouraging. From the south, the central, and hopefully from the northwest, we should pick up anytime soon. In terms of banditry, which has been a major problem, there has been some significant gains made by the military. It's not Uhuru yet, but significant gains have been made, so certain areas are accessible for farmers to go to.
Amongst other factors that may affect farmers is the issue of climate change. The reality or otherwise of climate change is a subject that has been debated worldwide. This raises the question, should it be something Nigerian farmers should be concerned about?
I'm sure if you did geography when you were in secondary school, the standard definition of climate is that it changes. The weather changes every 35 years. This is standard, all right? From my long geography days, we all know that. So climate change is not new. The real challenge or the issue is actually the rate at which it's changing, which is unusual and alarming, and as a result of heavy emissions of greenhouse gases. So, yes, I believe to a large extent that there is something to be concerned about in terms of climate change. And I think that as a global community, we need to do more together because the science is very clear. Are there exaggerations on this matter? There are. But it would be irresponsible to not, to just wave with the back of the hand that.
According to Mr. Negedu, there is a need to interface with smallholder farmers on the issue of climate change, as climate information is imperative to the success of the farming season. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Let's now take some more on business updates with Chamun Dabeng.
On Monday, the Nigerian Civil Aviation will issue an air transport license, ATL, to the interim management of Nigeria's national carrier, Nigeria Air, ensuring that the airline would begin operations in a few months. This comes 4 years after the federal government debuted the new airline's branding and livery at the Farnborough Air Show in London. Local airlines, on the other hand, have criticized the process, and some experts have expressed reservations. According to Kingsley Nwokoma, the president of the Association of Foreign Airlines, AON, and representative in Nigeria, the government should reveal whether it has secured investors for the airline. The AON, on the other hand, also noted that it would want to raise some major concerns about the way the planned national carrier project was presented to the federal government and Nigerians. To combat market fraud, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has launched an identity management program in which capital market participants will be issued unique identification. The SEC also stated that the unique identifiers will lower the large numbers of unclaimed dividends, and that the identity management initiative in the capital market will ensure that market transactions are secure and processed on a straight, thorough processing basis. This was revealed by the SEC's Director General, Mr. Lamido Yuguda, at a meeting with the Nigeria Data Protection Bureau's Management, NDPB. The measure, according to Yuguda, is part of the SEC's efforts to monitor the identities of capital market participants. Part of the project's goal, according to the SEC's head, is to decrease human intervention in data processing. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry LCCI has launched the second phase of the EcoGas scheme EGS, which aims to raise awareness among Nigerian homes about the considerable benefits of utilizing liquefied petroleum gas LPG as an alternative to biomass and kerosene. The second round of the EGS sensitization, dubbed #Eco for Gas for Eco, will take place in Ikorodu, Agboiketu, Igando Ikotun, Agbado Okeodo, and Lagos Island zones on 5 Fridays. According to LCCI President Dr. Michael Olawale Cole, the campaign is in line with Goal 7 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs), which aim to ensure that everyone has access to affordable, dependable, sustainable, and modern energy. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
Thanks for staying. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Now, away from Nigeria, suspected militia men on Sunday night killed at least 18 people in a village raid in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, local sources said. This is even as fighting resumed with the M23 rebel group in a neighboring province. Reports say that fighters believed to be from the Allied Democratic Forces killed residents and burnt down houses in the village of Otomabare in Ituri province. DRC Army spokesman Jules Ngongo confirmed the ADF attack without giving a death toll and said that Congolese forces were in pursuit of the assailants, while Irumu chief Jonas Izorabo Lemi said that he had received word of 20 fatalities. Christophe Moyandero, coordinator of the local group Convention for the Respect of Human Rights, also said the provisional death toll was 20. Tunisian judges have launched a week-long strike in protest at President Kais Saied's interference in the judiciary days after the sacked 57 of their colleagues, accusing them of corruption and protecting terrorists. The strike, which began on Monday, is the latest in a series of escalating moves by Tunisia's politicians, institutions and civil society as the country's political crisis deepens. Said, who dismissed the country's elected parliament and seized executive power last July, issued a new decree extending his rule over the judiciary after he said he had given opportunity after opportunity and warning after warning to the judiciary to purify itself in a televised address. The latest move against the only democratic system to emerge from the Arab Spring uprising has raised concerns among judges and other civil society groups, resulting in 4 judges' unions announcing a nationwide court strike to strongly condemn the president's continued interference in the judiciary. We'll now take some sports updates with Adeni Ajishafe.
The indoor sports hall of Lungi Barracks, Abuja, was full to capacity as the 4th edition of Under-20 Taekwondo Championship involving under-8 Taekwondoists from Federal Capital Territory, Nasarawa, Niger, and Kaduna States participated. Superb skills were displayed in the junior and heavyweight categories in the competition, which has more than 60 participants in attendance. Obeafuna Itunaya, who competed in the girls heavyweight category, says she feels happy to partake in the event.
I like the hospitality and how they have given us food and chairs to sit on. Don't force yourself if you can't do this sports. Go and do something you believe you can do and keep it up.
One of the attributes of such an event is to instill discipline and competitive spirit so Taekwondoists at a young age, according to the Grandmaster of Nigeria Taekwondo, Caleb Bassi. He called on parents to allow their kids participate in such events.
When I was in US, parents used to gather tin milk, food, give their children to go for hill climbing 1 week. And they will leave them. The children now will learn how to take care of themselves. We call leadership course. If their parents are not there, that means they can't live. So the parents should learn how to let the children be, let them see the part of the world. So by the time they grow up, they will now know how, the children will now know how the world is, how to follow it up. But when you pet them, if they don't see you, there's trouble.
President, Nigeria Taekwondo Federation, Seidu Abubakar, expressed joy seeing Taekwondo at the grassroots level getting better. Abubakar assured that the Federation is working hard to develop the sport in Nigeria.
Believe me, I'm very, very happy to be here. It is not a Federation-sanctioned event. I'm just here on invitation, and I'm glad that I've witnessed this today. This is one of the supports. The president is here himself to show that the Federation is in agreement, is in support with what is going on. Apart from that, what we'll be doing now is trying to sanction most of these tournaments. You understand? The Federation can also assist the clubs and the associations with kids, that's training kits, training equipment.
That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And it's a wrap on Trust News Hour. Remember, you can watch more by clicking the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and also following us across all social media platforms. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.